Myrana was prepared for what could only be the final confrontation with the wicked Lord Detos. It was 13 years since their paths had crossed. The half-elven Dark Knight had grown immensely powerful in that time, conquering vast amounts of untamed and fortified land. In his hand was a zenith-enchanted bastard sword he had taken when he had slain his ally and mystic associate several years before on a whim. His other associates had abandoned him years earlier, due to his tendency to force others proceed first into danger and then to claim all reward, loot and credit when they were weakened from fighting, while threatening maniacally and quite credibly that he would cut down anyone who opposed his will. In what became a magical and industrial age in the region he ruled, his artisans incorporated gems, jewels and runic etches into his articulated 8-wheeled war chariot. It had a magical banner that stood at least a man's height from the enclosed cabin, making the whole arrangement more like a towed caravan than a chariot. The razor-sharp, magical steel wheels were gleaming magnificently in the dawn sun, and the mist cleared slightly, and Myrana neared the stronghold at the foot of the fortress mountain where Lord Detos ruled like a megalomaniac-ridden dark demigod. Detos knew Myrana was there. Despite the now Grand Master Assassin's stealth and talents, Detos had the surrounding forest enchanted by a dark practitioner of the low arts, so that it whispered loudly when the presence of any stranger became apparent. It was a simple spell, as the insidious noxious trees were willingly submissive to the ability. "So today it ends," Myrana said menacingly in the general direction on the resplendent visage of Gothic shadow chivalry, without paying him the respect of looking at his face. Myrana had a plan and several contingencies. He had no spare concentration for parley, negotiation or pity, or to deal with any form of exaggerated low-magic elf intimidation techniques that Detos might try. Avoiding a victim's gaze was sometimes good policy anyhow. Focus on the hands, the position of the feet. "For you!" screamed Lord Detos as he flicked the diamond-encrusted blackened leather reins above his head and flicked them down. The enchanted reins and yoke formed a wicked magical cat of 9 tails that cracked unerringly in a peculiar spiraling flow, lightning and sparks on the hinds of all the 8 black warhorses that drew forward swiftly on their yokes. The led horse was struck twice. Spectrum-hued dark shadows emanated from all of the accursed draft steeds, where their sharpened enchanted silver horseshoes struck the stones on the hard ground. There were sparks of an indescribable hue that Myrana had never before seen. "This may be harder than I thought Myrana briefly, before he used his Iai Jutsu and drew his late master's sword, Stare of Ruin. It was a silvery longsword with a golden hilt and a skull at the pommel with 2 glowing ruby eyes.